Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and the Restless official 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Kane is conned by Lily, and she loves him? When we first practice lying, tangled webs are created, according to spoilers for The Young and the Restless. Will Lily Winters and Kane Ashby learn this lesson? Victor Newman presented Lily with an awful concept in the August 7th episode, pretending to like Kane in order to destroy him from the inside out. Devon Winters was reassured by Lily that she was not prepared for a phony reunion of the Kane family. But would she find it enticing now that she's given the notion some thought? Kane will Lily snooker? Kane is the cause of Damian Kane's death, and Lily was going to start dating him. Kane has done a lot more to alienate people, but this alone might make her not trust him. Nevertheless, it is clear that there was once something between Kane and Lily because they were married and had children together. Lily still loves Kane, but she finds this new version of her former spouse repulsive. Is Victor Newman correct when he says that she holds the secret to defeating the louse? Lily can bring down Kane, Victor believes. Lily might be the only one who can figure out Kane's secret plan. However, Lily must pull off the year's biggest scam by feigning to give him another chance in order to do that. The stakes are enormous because Kane is vicious and will stop at nothing to achieve his goals. A lot of fans also believe that Lily is hiding the fact that she still has strong love for Kane. Spending time with Kane puts Lily at risk of falling in love with him again. But is that really so bad? Lily plays a risky game. If Lily decides to date Kane, she will need to make it seem genuine. This implies that she could become susceptible if she were to have a kiss or two because all of her memories could return. Lily cons Kane, and falls hard for him? The Young and the Restless has never shied away from crafting complicated, high-stakes romantic entanglements, but what's about to unfold between Lily Winters and Kane Ashby could easily go down as one of the most emotionally dangerous plots in Genoa City history. In the August 7th episode, Victor Newman slid a suggestion across the figurative chessboard that might have made even the most seasoned schemers pause. He wants Lily to fake a reconciliation with Kane, not for love, not for closure, but as a calculated maneuver to destroy him from the inside out. It's the kind of proposition that comes wrapped in moral quicksand. Lily initially brushed it off, telling Devon Winters in no uncertain terms that she wasn't ready to play pretend with a man who once held her heart and has now proven capable of darker, more ruthless moves. At that moment, she meant it. But the thing about Victor Newman's ideas? They have a way of lingering in your mind, simmering just below the surface until they begin to feel less like a bad idea and more like a dangerous temptation. And Lily's temptation isn't just about revenge, it's about unfinished business. The baggage between Lily and Kane. To understand the stakes, we have to remember the complicated history between these two. Kane isn't just any ex. He's the man Lily once trusted enough to marry, the father of her children, the partner she envisioned building a lifetime with. There was a time when she defended him against all odds, when she believed the best of him even in his worst moments. But that Kane, the one who promised her a life built on love and loyalty, feels like a ghost compared to the man she sees now. Kane has changed, hardened by betrayals, schemes, and his own ambition. The nail in the coffin for Lily's trust? The death of Damian Kane, a death Kane is directly responsible for. That single fact alone should cement her refusal to have anything to do with him. But should is a weak word in Genoa City. Because while her logical mind tells her to keep her distance, her emotional history with Kane is a tangled web that's far harder to cut through than she'd like to admit. Victor's calculated gamble. Victor, of course, has his reasons for wanting Kane brought down. Whether they are rooted in business rivalry, personal vengeance, or some murky mixture of both, he sees Lily as the perfect Trojan horse. Her past with Kane gives her credibility. Her ability to read him, to anticipate his moves, makes her uniquely dangerous to him. From Victor's point of view, it's a simple equation. Kane still has feelings for Lily, feelings that could cloud his judgment. If Lily plays the part of the willing ex-lover, she could get close enough to learn his secrets, sabotage his plans, and perhaps even set the stage for his ultimate downfall. The trouble is, what Victor sees as a flawless strategy is, for Lily, an emotional minefield. Pretending to love someone you once actually loved isn't just acting, it's dancing along the edge of a cliff where one wrong step could send you tumbling back into feelings you thought you'd buried for good. The danger of playing the long con. To pull this off, Lily would have to make it real, at least in appearance. That means meeting Kane on his turf, engaging him in conversations that feel intimate, maybe even letting herself get drawn into the easy rhythm they once had. It would mean physical closeness, a hand on his arm, a laugh at an old inside joke, perhaps even a kiss. And anyone who's been through a messy breakup knows how dangerous that is. The human heart doesn't always separate performance from truth. A kiss intended as a weapon can awaken memories you don't want to relive. A dinner for the plan can turn into genuine laughter, genuine warmth, and suddenly you're not just acting anymore, you're feeling. And that's the razor's edge Lily would be walking. Every moment with Kane would be a test of her resolve, a question of whether she's conning him or conning herself. Kane's perspective. From Kane's side, the idea of Lily reaching out might seem like a gift from the universe. His love for her, however twisted and complicated it's become, is still very real. He sees her as the one person who ever truly saw him, not the schemes, not the ambition, but the man underneath it all. If Lily came to him suggesting a fresh start, Kane might drop his guard in ways he hasn't for anyone else. But that's where this storyline's potential for devastation lies. The more Kane lets Lily in, the deeper her betrayal will cut when the truth comes out. And for a man like Kane, betrayal is never met with quiet acceptance, it's met with retaliation. Which means Lily's plan, if she goes through with it, could put her directly in the crosshairs of a man who's already proven he'll go to dangerous lengths when crossed. The ghost of old feelings. Part of what makes this potential con so dangerous is that Lily isn't immune to Kane's charm. No matter how many times she's told herself she's over him, the truth is that shared history is a powerful drug. The smallest trigger, a familiar smile, the scent of his cologne, the way he says her name could crack her emotional armor. And Kane, knowingly or not, might exploit that. Not out of cruelty, but because he wants her back. He might remind her of their best moments together, replay the greatest hits of their relationship, all while believing he's rekindling something real. This isn't just a battle of strategy, it's a battle of willpower. And in a game where both players have equal skill but different motives, the one who loses focus first usually loses everything. The fans' divided reactions. Y&R fans are split down the middle on this one. Some think Lily is the only person who can truly take Kane down, and they want to see her use every tool at her disposal to do it. Others think she's setting herself up for heartbreak and maybe even danger by getting too close to a man who's proven he can't be trusted. There's also the romantic faction of the fanbase, the ones who believe Lily and Kane's story isn't over, who see this con not as the end, but as a potential twisted path back to love. After all, in soap operas, enemies to lovers isn't just a trope, it's practically a rite of passage. Victor's backup plan. Victor, of course, won't rely solely on Lily. He'll have other pieces in play, other angles to pressure Kane from different sides. But he's also shrewd enough to know that Lily is his ace in the hole. If she commits to the role, she could become the one person Kane never sees coming until it's too late. But that's assuming she can commit, because if she hesitates, if Kane senses even the slightest insincerity, the whole plan could unravel. And then Victor's brilliant idea won't just fail, it could backfire spectacularly. The ticking clock. In the world of Genoa City, timing is everything. If Lily decides to take Victor up on his offer, she'll have to move quickly, before Kane solidifies whatever plans he's working on. But moving quickly also means moving without fully thinking through the consequences. And in soap operas, rushed decisions almost always lead to chaos. The longer Lily waits, the more the opportunity slips away. But the sooner she acts, the greater the risk of getting in too deep. It's a classic no-win situation, and Lily's choice could redefine not just her relationship with Kane, but her standing in the entire Newman Abbott power landscape. Foreshadowing trouble. If there's one thing the young and the restless loves, it's setting up a domino effect. If Lily cons Kane and succeeds, she could cripple him emotionally and professionally. But what happens after? Would she really be able to walk away unscathed? Would Kane accept defeat quietly? Or would he dig until he found a way to turn the tables? There's also the question of collateral damage. Lily's children could get caught in the fallout. Devon could lose trust in her. And if Kane finds out about Victor's involvement, the wrath of a cornered Kane might be unlike anything Genoa City has seen from him before. The emotional payoff. For viewers, this storyline is ripe with possibilities. Romantic tension, moral conflict, power plays, and the constant question of who's really playing whom. If done right, it could reignite the kind of electric, unpredictable drama that keeps fans glued to their screens. Will Lily be able to keep her heart out of the equation and her focus on the mission? Or will the lines blur until she's not sure whether she's still acting or if she's fallen for him all over again? The only certainty is that if Lily steps onto this path, there's no turning back. She might start the con to destroy Kane, but in the process, she could destroy her own peace, her own moral compass, and maybe even the very life she's worked so hard to rebuild. Because in Genoa City, love and revenge are never clean games. They are messy, dangerous, and almost always come with a price. And for Lily Winters, that price could be heartbreak, or something much worse. Lily Winters didn't give Victor Newman an answer that night. Instead, she told him she'd think about it, though the moment those words left her lips, she knew it wasn't entirely true. She wasn't thinking about it in the way most people meant. She was already mapping out what the first step would look like, already hearing the sound of Kane's voice in her head, already bracing herself for the tidal wave of old feelings she knew would come the second she saw him. Devon Winters could see it on her face when they met for coffee the next morning. "You're going to do it, aren't you?" he asked, not accusingly but with the quiet disappointment of someone who knows exactly where the road leads. Lily hesitated, wrapping her hands around the warm mug. "It's not about revenge," she said carefully. "It's about making sure Kane doesn't hurt anyone else. If he's planning something, I need to know. And if I'm the only one who can get close enough to find out." Devon sighed. "That's exactly how Victor wants you to justify it. You think you're in control, but you're stepping into his game. And Kane's game. And trust me, Lil, they are both better at playing than you are." She wanted to believe he was wrong. She wanted to believe she could walk into the lion's den, take what she needed, and walk out untouched. But as she walked away from their conversation, she couldn't shake the faint, treacherous thrill of knowing she was about to do something dangerous. First contact. The first move had to be subtle. If she called Kane out of nowhere and asked to meet, it would reek of strategy. If she accidentally ran into him somewhere, it might feel more organic. And so, a few days later, Lily made sure she was at the same high-end restaurant she knew he favored for late business dinners. She didn't have to wait long. The moment she saw him walk in, tailored suit, confident stride, that familiar half-smile when he caught sight of her, her pulse betrayed her. He looked almost exactly the same as the man she used to love, and that was the problem. "Lily," he said, sounding genuinely surprised as he approached her table. "This is a nice surprise." She smiled in a way that could mean anything. "Kane. It's been a while." He gestured toward the empty seat across from her. "May I?" She nodded, feeling the weight of Victor's plan in every beat of her heart. "Of course." The hook. The conversation began lightly, surface-level talk about the kids, mutual acquaintances, how busy life had been. But as they talked, Lily noticed something. Kane wasn't on guard. Normally, he'd be testing her with subtle digs or deflecting with charm. Tonight, he seemed almost relaxed. "Look," she said after a pause, "I know things between us ended badly, and I'm not saying I'm ready to forget all that. But I've been thinking, maybe it wouldn't be the worst thing if we could at least be civil. For the kids' sake." Kane's eyes searched hers, looking for the catch. "Civil," he repeated slowly. "I could do civil." She let the silence stretch before adding, "And maybe, grab a drink sometime. No pressure." That was all it took. The smallest flicker of hope lit his expression, and she knew she had him on the hook. Victor's satisfaction. Later that night, Lily called Victor. "He took the bait," she said, keeping her voice even. Victor chuckled. "Of course he did. You're his weakness, Lily. Now all you have to do is lean into that." She wanted to tell Victor she wasn't going to manipulate Kane's feelings just for sport, but she knew how pointless that would be. Victor wasn't interested in the emotional cost. He was interested in results. The first date. A few nights later, Kane picked her up in a sleek black car, opening the door for her with that gentlemanly charm that used to melt her. They went to a rooftop bar overlooking the city, the kind of place where the lights made everything feel softer, safer. "You look beautiful," he said simply, and for a moment, she forgot this was a setup. "Thank you," she replied, her voice quieter than she intended. They talked for hours, the conversation flowing with an ease that startled her. It was like slipping into an old song she hadn't realized she still remembered the words to. But then Kane mentioned Damien's death, casually, as if testing her, and the spell broke. "I don't want to talk about that tonight," she said quickly, forcing a smile. "Let's just keep this light." He let it drop, but she could see in his eyes that he'd noticed her reaction. The first slip. When she got home that night, Lily stood in front of the mirror, replaying the evening in her mind. She was supposed to be gathering information, keeping her guard up, but she'd spent most of the night laughing at his jokes. She'd touched his hand without thinking. She'd let herself enjoy it. And worst of all, she hadn't wanted it to end. She told herself it was fine, that she was just playing the role. But deep down, she knew she was already starting to blur the line between act and reality. Devon's warning. A week later, Devon confronted her again. "You're smiling," he said. "That's not the smile of someone taking down a dangerous man. That's the smile of someone who's letting him back in." "I'm in control," Lily insisted. "That's what Kane wants you to think," Devon replied. "And if you're not careful, you're going to wake up one day and realize you've been playing his game the whole time." Kane turns the tables. What Lily didn't know was that Kane had his own suspicions. He didn't fully believe she'd just decided to show up in his life again without an agenda. But instead of confronting her, he decided to let her make the first moves. Because if she was playing him, he'd find out. And if she wasn't, well, then maybe this was his second chance. The kiss. It happened on their third date. They were walking along the waterfront, the air cool and heavy with the scent of rain. She stumbled slightly on a slick patch of pavement, and he caught her by the waist. The moment lingered, too long, too close. And then, before she could overthink it, Kane kissed her. It wasn't a calculated kiss. It wasn't meant to prove a point. It was warm and familiar and disarming in a way that rattled her more than she wanted to admit. She pulled back, heart pounding. "We said civil," she whispered. He smiled faintly. "That was civil." The cracks in the plan. That night, Lily didn't call Victor. She didn't want to hear his smug voice telling her the kiss was part of the plan. Because it hadn't felt like strategy, it had felt like memory. And that terrified her. She started to notice little changes in herself, checking her phone more often, wondering what Kane was doing, replaying moments from their nights together. She told herself she was studying him for weaknesses. But she was also remembering the way he used to hold her, the way he'd once made her feel like the center of his world. Victor pushes harder. Victor called her in for a private meeting. "You're not moving fast enough," he said bluntly. "Kane is dangerous. I need results." "I'm getting close," Lily replied carefully. "Then get closer," Victor said. "Whatever it takes. Don't forget why you're doing this." But that was the problem. Lily was starting to forget. Or maybe she was starting to remember something she wasn't supposed to. Kane's confession. A few nights later, over wine and low music, Kane opened up in a way that caught her off guard. He talked about Damien, not the business side, but the personal cost, the regret. "I didn't mean for it to happen the way it did," he said quietly. "And I hate that you think I'm a monster for it." Lily studied him, searching for deception. But what she saw was something she hadn't expected, genuine pain. In that moment, she felt her resolve weaken. If Kane could feel remorse, could change, maybe Victor was wrong. Maybe she was wrong. The dangerous thought. That night, lying awake, Lily let herself think the one thought she'd been avoiding. What if this isn't a con anymore? Because if it wasn't, then she wasn't just risking the mission. She was risking her heart. And in Genoa City, that was often the more dangerous gamble.